I'ma cook your, I swear to God, I'll cook your ass every day, nigga. Straight up. You's a suck clout chasing ass. And on my mom, if I ever see you, beat the dog out your ass, nigga. Straight up. And no, you ain't gotta worry about no lawyers talking about threat. I ever see you beat the dog shit out. And if you ever was in my city, something happened to you, nigga. Straight up.
They not like us. They not like us. They
Chasing
not
you
like
hard.
us.
Kevin Martinez. You trying to be funny? Why don't you go tell that nigga who made that fake paperwork about that? Oh, we waiting on another video. You see what I'm saying? You trying to be funny, bitch.
We gotta pull that shit out for folks now.
Officer Ricky,
Whooping, bro.
AK, come out and play.
The fuck? Like the way, sir.
You know I made a response, right?
It hit different. Do your homework. All right, look.
Alright, so let's talk about the fake paperwork. What I did was I reached out to the lieutenant, who's now chief, that was in charge of doing AK's brother investigation back in 2017. As you guys can see right here, this is me reaching back out to him after I originally did the FOIA request. And what I did was I put both papers side by side. So I asked him why on the FOIA request now on page 12 you can't find what I got on page 12 on my old request, right? What's the difference? Why am I not getting this information now when I'm filing for the FOIA request? Why am I not getting it? And this is his response. Keep in mind, right, that I'm not reaching out to him so that he can tell me that the paperwork is valid and it's true. And I'm not expecting for him to tell me any of that because I know that his job is to cover it up. Use your brain when you're trying to really do the math on this, right? My intent with this was to show you guys that I did not make no fake paperwork, right? So as you can see, I asked him about the paperwork. After I reached out to him and asked him about the paperwork, he says, I'll not recognize that page on the left side. I don't recognize that page. I don't know what that is, right? And it's okay. I don't expect for him to tell me that that's a real page because they don't fucked up. They know I got a page I'm not supposed to have, right? And ain't that Cash App because I might need lawyer money after this, right? But let's talk about it. So he tells me I can reach out to his chief, who was the one in charge of the investigation, after saying he does not know that paperwork, that's not his paperwork or whatever.
Hello? Hello? Chief, it's Neil. Can you hear me?
As you can see, that was Neil calling his chief. And what is he telling me right here? The signatures on that paper are not any of my officers. But yet, Neil is one of your officers. That's the body cam from the FOIA request. His signature's at the bottom of page 12. So I made that up too.
Whooping, bro.
Mind you, he's telling me this, but he also says you can reach out to my chief, who was the one in charge of the investigation when this shit happened. He's telling me that's not his paperwork. He doesn't know that paperwork. But then in the same sentence, you want to tell me I didn't do the case. My chief did the case. You could reach out to him and ask for more questions. So you know I reached out to the chief to ask him more questions. Keep in mind, I'm not expecting for him to tell me, yes, that paperwork is valid. That's our paperwork, right? You're dumb if you think police is going to tell you that somebody's an undercover cop, right? You're dumb if you really think they're going to admit to that. But when people talk, they always say enough to fuck up and give you your answer. Pay attention, though. Let's get it.
Looking over that copy of the report that you had before you spoke with us. Yeah, I've been looking into it. I'm like, I got old paperwork, I got new paperwork, and I'm like, let me do an FOIA request. And then I'm like, hold on. Was it because it's redacted? Is there a reason his brother was questioned and it was just redacted? Or is it something that just, I was like, let me just call. You the one that did the interviews with them, right? Yeah, that's right. I did all the interviews, and I never typed that first page that you had, where you had the vehicle information and all that information on it in caps. So his brother, Martinez Ray, was never questioned or involved with the case? No, not on our end. I don't know what happened outside of our investigation.
Got him. Got him. You heard what he said, right? You heard what the fuck he just said? I don't know what happened outside our investigation. What does he mean by outside of our investigation. It's your investigation, but I'm going to show you why he's saying that. It's right in the paperwork, and I just caught him in a fucking lie. Well, not really, because he's not lying. There was more to the investigation that is not on paperwork, but they fucked up and gave me something that I got, and it shows what else happened outside the investigation and why BCI was there. Let's get it. I'm gonna show you guys on the paperwork. Here's another lie he mentioned that is on paperwork and he lied about.
So his brother Martinez Ray was never questioned or involved with the case? No, not on our end. I don't know what happened outside of our investigation, but none of these things happened during our investigation. We never dealt with, Mary Stecker. I didn't deal with her at all.
So he said he never dealt with Mary the Stetcher, right? That's what he said. He never dealt with her. But she's part of the case. Then he says that didn't happen during our investigation, referring to page 12, where it mentions that AK's mom came over there and demanded to go in there with her son while AK's brother was getting questioned. The page that says AK is an undercover gang LIASON, whatever that shit is, right? That page, he's talking about none of that happened during his investigation. He says he never dealt with Mary Estetcher, right? But Mary Estetcher is on the paperwork. She's right here. She was one of the people that was arrested. Here we go. Kevin, which is AK's brother, right? He was arrested. Dejan, he was arrested. Isaiah is the victim, right? Then we got Chinita E. Langford. Then we got Mary E. Stetcher. Then we got Matthew Stetcher, which is the white dude, the Uber driver they tried to rob, who defended himself, right? And killed Isaiah. Rest in peace to Isaiah. So if he never dealt with Mary E. Stetcher, who dealt with her? Because the paperwork that is available says she was arrested. That's the Uber driver's wife. They arrested her for conspiracy and a bunch of other shit. They're saying she has something to do with what she got charged with. She was charged with trafficking in drugs and voluntary manslaughter. So who did this paperwork, AK? BCI was there for over 4.5 hours. And usually BCI comes and helps with cases when there's another officer involved. Usually if there's an officer type of shooting or there's an investigation that needs help, when you got like a little small town and all that, sometimes they do help, right? So I thought maybe that's the reason why they came and helped. But when you can see that more than one department was involved with the investigation, you can't say this is not your paperwork. You can't say that this paperwork is fake. You just said you didn't deal with Mary the Stetcher, but yet she was fucking arrested. You just heard the chief, right, tell me that he didn't deal with them and that stuff didn't happen during his investigation. BCI only comes when there's a police involved type shooting with a police officer involved, right? And sometimes they do help with small towns.
We want to do things right. At BCI, we have investigated cases that have both been determined by a prosecutor or a grand jury to have been lawful, the conduct by the officer as far as their use of force. However, we have also investigated cases where it was later determined by the prosecutor or grand jury that the officer's conduct was unlawful and resulted in criminal charges against the officer for crimes such as murder, manslaughter, or negligent homicide or assault.
But my question is, did BCI come in to question and take over their investigation because they know they had an undercover agent involved with the investigation? Because the report says that the brother mentioned that AK was originally the one who came up with the plan to go make the robbery with the Uber driver, right? And then he recanted his statement and said, no, it was just them that did it. It was just them who was involved with the robbery and they came up with it. But initially he stated that AK drove them to the crime scene. Now you see why there was more than one department investigating this case? Mind you, these dudes were transferred from station to station back and forth, right? They were going from Pepper Pike Jail to Giagua Jail, back to Beechwood Jail, and then back to Pepper Pike Jail. This happened on the 22nd, May 22nd. On the 24th, they were getting transferred back to another jail, to another jail, to another jail. This is why the officer I spoke to, the chief, says, not during our investigation. I don't know what happened outside of our investigation, but not during our investigation. That's why he's saying that. Look how many times these guys were transferred before they were transferred back. On page 1, on this paperwork, you have all the names of the people that were arrested, and you have all the names of all the officers that were involved. On another sheet, you have all the other officers that were at the crime scene investigation. That's where it mentions that BCI was there, right? But look what it says about you. It says you're an undercover liaison for the PD. I looked up what liaison means, and look what it means. This is what it means.
Undercover law enforcement agents carry out covert investigations to prevent criminal activities and gather evidence to solve crimes. They are vital to the operation of law enforcement agencies and can work at the local, state, and federal
I'm not gonna
level.
say who came to me, but it's about because he faced legal problems. It was Lowski that made that video. Well, whoever made the video, it was a problem going on.
So let's make this make sense. They come to you so you can make a video, but you're not a blogger. You have no subscribers, you're not a blogger, and they choose to come to you so you can make a video so you can clear the name up and make things better. See, if you were saying this now, it will make sense because you're a big blogger, you got good numbers, you do numbers and all that, and it makes sense for someone to come to you now so you can control the narrative, right? But for someone to come to you when you's not a blogger at all, so you can speak on this, so you can do what? Make it make sense. This is what I'm saying, people. Make it make sense.
People wanted me to straighten out a name. So when I made that video, notice, I ain't say Muwab had no gun. Now, the person who made the video said Muwab was actually a shooter. We could play this video. I never said Muwab had a gun. I never said Muwab shot shit. All I tried to do was make better of the video that was already circulating. Because this is a month later, in Chicago, them niggas' names was on fire because of Duck Name, nigga.
Gang liaison officer. Responsible for investigating all gang-related offenses that occur within the city of Dallas. Locate and document gang members that reside or are arrested within the city. Perform consensual and in custody interviews of gang members.
He's undercover, so that doesn't apply to him.
Responsible for conducting surveillance on high-priority suspects to gang-related offenses. Assist federal agencies such as the DEA, ATF, and FBI with operations regarding gang activity in Dallas, as well other specialized units such as the Narcotics Division.
We gotta pull that shit out for folks now. It's different.
Interesting how what Alianza means pretty much is what AK is on social media.
Omegadrip exclusives.